It's like children. It's like
Well, hello again, everybody. Good evening from us here in Chile, Africa, and good morning, good afternoon, good whatever, wherever in the world you are. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. And we have with us again our special, lovely, divine guest, Tom ALTHOUSE. So good to have you back, Tom. How are you?
Fired up, doing great, loving life. So yeah.
That's so awesome.
Good. Yeah.
We were having a great conversation off air. And something that is going on a lot at the moment, we've kind of addressed it in some of our other shows as well. But it seems to be rife at the moment. So it's really good to, I think, chat about these things from a positive perspective, because we're not going to fight it. The more we fight something, the more tension we create, and the more we have more of what we don't want, right? So I always say it's important to be aware. Knowledge is power. And what really seems to me that's going on at the moment, and I could be wrong, but it's almost like there's been some programming that's been happening in some of the survivors or something like that, because there's a lot of turning on each other. There's a lot of bad mouthing one another at the moment. Those of us who are doing what we are doing here, those of us like Tom, I mean, we know Jesse, Madison, just to name but a few, are under constant attack from the minions, but it's okay. You know, the point is that it's about understanding what is happening at the moment. And that is why we have people like Tom, like Jesse, like Madison, like Andy Bond that we spoke to just before, who have come out of the system and understand the tactics that are used to silence people, to divide and conquer, to create chaos, to create more mind control. You know, these are all things. Remember, this is end times and we are in a war, but it's not a physical war the way we understand World War I and II, for example. It's obviously information war, and the internet is the playground. So, or the playing field, or the war field, whatever one calls it. But we really have to be discerning at the end of the day. But anyway, so Tom, I'm going to hand over to you so you can share with us your pearls of wisdom again. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. How are you before all of that?
Doing great. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I think what we need to draw from, I think it's a very important topic. We need to draw from this idea of keeping it positive in our lives, in our families, in our loved ones, in our circles, and we can do great work by celebrating together and being positive on that road. Now, the enemy's idea and playbook, and this comes right from the alphabet boys, right from even World War II, Goebbels, it's like divide and conquer, repeat nonsense over and over again, get people to believe it. And he said he could turn the population into pigs. And you got people like Pat Robertson and others that are just like doing this very thing. They know that they've actually employed ex-Nazis. Elser, Schonoff, Schlosser, all these guys are his people. And you've got this situation where they're employing the same ideas that were from World War II because they believe they worked. Divide and conquer, get the masses to be swayed, distract, go for what hurts the most on your target. And a new system, something new I've seen now lately, which I've been exposed to, is court those that seem to have the most momentum. If, say, Tom ALTHOUSE here is getting such a wave that they're now having contact saying, you know, you won this game where they're afraid of your power, then court Tom ALTHOUSE and try to get him to think, we love you, Tom, but don't be working with all these other people that you've been hanging with. They're bad. What they do is they're trying to erode your support base and the people you work with in order to isolate you while pretending to be on your side, not buying it, not falling for it. And they offer you rewards at the same time. It's supposed to make me turn on my own in order to think that I'm going to have more rewards and honors. Not playing. I'm going to stand by those that are my own. I'm not going to give into your game. I know what you're doing. And this tactic comes right from the alphabet boys.
It's exactly what's happening. Is there's so much behind the scenes talking, so much betrayal of friendships, so much deception, you know, that has been going on in such a subtle way And it's true what you say, you know, everything is done behind the scenes, emails to that one says that one, and that one is saying this about that one. And it's such nonsense, you know. There's a beautiful book that's written, and it's called The Four Agreements. John Ruy Morné, Jean Ruy.
Yeah.
If you put up
The
that
four
name,
agreements. You will find it if
okay,
you just Google for the four agreements. They are
four agreements, you know. And one of the, and you know, that is really, they come from one of the South American tribes, if I remember, Mexican, if I'm not mistaken. And their teachings were sent down. I think this guy that actually wrote the book was the first one that was actually given permission, if you will, to actually put their teachings into writing, because it's all put down orally. Usually it's all passed down verbally and orally. So one of the four sacred agreements is to be impeccable with your word. Mm-hmm. It is so, and part of being impeccable with your word is that you do not gossip. Mm-hmm. Because gossip is the biggest virus. It spreads worse than a virus. Mm-hmm. If you want to speak about someone, say cool things about them. I'm very happy that we all speak about each other in the most positive way, in such an uplifting way. There is so much competition and nastiness around at the moment, you know, that it's so important just to go back. You know, what we've been focusing on a lot on this channel in the last few months, especially, is solutions. Recently, we've had one of the Aboriginals on again, the Khoisan people, and we're looking at how do we take things back to Earth's original way in modern times. But, you know, something like this would be one of those ways, is to be impeccable with your word. Mm-hmm. Do not gossip. Mm-hmm. Do not speak angry words. It doesn't speak about the other person. It speaks volumes about you. And you see, that's what people must realize when they go on a tirade like that. It's not about the person you're tirading about ever. Mm-hmm. It speaks volumes about you. It's your perception of the person. It doesn't make it true. I remember many years ago reading something that Richard Gere had said. He said, just because you say I'm a cow doesn't mean I'm a cow. I know I'm a zebra. Mm-hmm. Simple.
Yeah, one thing too I want to put out there too, along with what you're saying, is I enjoy foremost seeing those I care about have joy. And I'm not going to participate in having their joy taken away. So the tactic by these alphabet boys and such, no, it will not work. Even if the base offer is not going to be accepted, because I don't want to see my friends lose their joy. I don't want to see their work suffer because their joy is taken away. I know what's going on. And I've got people where I won't use names on these programs of who says what. I won't say it on the air, but I'll stand with my friends. And then I get contacted by friends going, is it me that you're referring to that's bad mouthing? What? Why are you asking? It's like, you know, wow, if you think it's you, then you must be involved in something. If you're asking me, am I talking about you on a program about people gossiping, then check yourself. You know, even if I'm not talking about you, then maybe you need to do a double check if you think I'm talking about you. So if that makes any sense. We need to be cleaning up our acts. If we're actually working for the children, let's finish this. I'm hearing people talk against people who both I embrace, both sides. It's like I have a front line of warriors and we're winning. We're driving them back so hard, and the front line's starting to attack itself. Nothing can be better for the pedophiles and the alphabet boys who support the pedophiles than that. That's exactly the dream come true for them, that we start fighting each other. Why? And that's why they're offering awards to me, because they know that I'm not going to do it. Yet we have a group called Immortals Remnant, and I'll name this name, Royce Babcock. That guy came to me claiming that he is Christ, Jesus Christ, that he gave me the screenplay. That's how Hollywood's going to steal it, claiming that this man gave me the work. What a guy needing attention, you know, and is got a whole group of ex-cons, and then this lady that admits she's with the FBI, working, doing messages I have saying, find anything Tom said about anybody and put it to those hosts, including the documentary team. And he contacts the documentary team. Where's Babcock? With a picture of tinfoil on his head. Contacting the documentary team. Don't use Tom, he's evil. He's the new Sophia Stewart. See? And he's bragging about going to have a new home, mansion with a pool in it and everything. Well, you jerk, you loser. What you're doing is you're trying to divide a community of great people and capitalize and profit off it. And I was told he's a D player. He's a D player because he can't make it on his own merits. So he's using whatever the alphabet boys want him to do in Hollywood pedophiles in order to score by dividing up those of us that are actually doing well, and has the audacity to claim that he created my work, that he gave it through me because he's Jesus. Yeah. And that guy, message after message with people joining him that were all set to take away what we're trying to do. That's how the alphabet boys work. The Federal Bureau of Invisibles. The Federal Bureau of Invisibles. That's how they work. So they're the ones that are getting people to divide and say these things, and they get them to do it. And they subtly offer rewards and honors. I have transcripts that show this, where I have transcripts of Pat Robertson's group and things like this, where they're talking about this very thing. The law sees it differently, but we do this, and don't tell anybody because the law sees it differently. We want to be anonymous. And he's a Jekyll and Hyde. He does witch cult experiments on children. He's evil. He's outside the church. It's amazing how these people use the church, what they call the Christian church, in order to attack. What are you doing? The two should not go together. It shouldn't work. You can't mesh what's supposed to be, Christianity into an assault team on those that are actually trying to do good work in the world.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What's your purpose? What are you trying to achieve? So there's a lot I feel about this, a lot.
If we see the thing that currently divides us most, that I observe, it is our different religions and denominations, right? So the very thing that was set out in the beginning of time, really, all we have to do is go back to look at things like, Tartaria, for example. You can see in the beginning of time, there was no division of religions, stuff like that. So what's happened over time is the religion, language, etc., has divided us. So now again, at the end times, if we look at the thing that most people are throwing dirt on, it's about different people's different belief systems. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm always saying. It's not about what you believe. Anyone who thinks that your way is the only way of doing something and there is no other way, you need to think again. That's part of the deception. So my point is that when we can look beyond the fact that I worship like that and you worship like that and they worship like that, it doesn't matter. Think about all of us if there's a massive flood and we're all running and we're trying to get each other in lifeboats. Do we ask who you worship before we put the child in the lifeboat?
Yeah.
If there's women and children and people and kids drowning, whatever, we move into our humanity then. So our humanity is decent. So, my point is what we worship really should be private. We should watch each other's actions. We should see what we are doing. We should understand that. And again, I always say practice discernment. You will know when, who's okay for you and who's not. And we should stop mudslinging, because the moment we mudsling, that's when the problems start, because then it's the he said, she said, and I'm right and you're wrong and I'm right. And the problem, and that's part of that division. And that's really where I was saying, where the gossip is, because then that be impeccable with your word, not only with gossip, but it's how you express yourself. It's the words that come out of your mouth. It doesn't mean that you always have to be agreeable with people. You can totally disagree, but the way you say it is everything, right? Yeah, so you can disagree with someone, but we can agree to be friends and enjoy each other's company.
You're getting interruptions right now because this should be a telltale sign. If you're getting interruptions, you are a concern of the shallow state. You're a concern of the alphabet boys. You're concerned about you getting your word out. That should give a clue to everybody. If they're interrupting you, that means they're concerned about the work you're doing, which is good. An example of what they do too is this. Another example, if I'm going to rescue the children and free them from these alphabet boys and what they're doing, why would a person come up and say this to me? And this is what it's like. Don't let Tom do it because he might get credit for it. Who cares about who gets the credit for it? But that's what we're in right now, is they're concerned about who gets the credit. They want the credit for rescuing the kids. Forget that. Let's rescue the kids. Who cares about who gets the credit? They want attention. These idiots want attention. And so I'm going to say idiots. They want attention and they want to be in the spotlight and they want to be famous. That's not what it's about. And if you're anybody in the truth community that wants attention and wants to be famous, get out. Get out right now. You don't belong here. You don't belong here. That's why you're trashing.
I think it's a difference between, you know, I think it's for me, it's not about being famous, but it's about leaving a legacy behind. That's what I think.
Right. That's
if you look at you guys, I mean, I would love, sorry to interrupt, Tom, I think we've got a bit of a lag here, but I'm just saying, I would love to see in 20 or 30 years time when, for example, my granddaughter is all grown up, that names like Jessie Zabotard, Tom ALTHOUSE, Madison Marquette, to name but a few, okay? Fiona Barnett, Gabby Chung, Rachel Vaughan, those are the people that are, and I don't want to say idolized because no one should be idolized, but respected and absolutely honored for the path that you guys have taken for opening up the new way. That's what I'm saying. These are the modern day heroes, not a guy that's been mind controlled and paid billions every year to shoot a ball through the hoop. I'm not saying that's irrelevant, but I think it's completely over exaggerated. And I think there's got to be balance that comes in. People like our teachers, for example, our educators, our nurses, stuff like that get paid next to nothing. The people that need to be put out in the front. And those are the ones that should, for example, get a lot more reward for the work they do. You know, the thing is, to me, when we as human beings decide to look at the world differently and see things differently and understand that every human being is my brother and sister. I might be fighting with you right now. And I might not like you very much right now, but tomorrow I'll feel differently. You know, that fight and that anger is really just my own imbalance. So when I've calmed down, I'll feel differently about you. It always comes back to what we're feeling and what we're putting out and what we're projecting, you know. So at the end of the day, when we all decide that we choose peace, let us all choose peace and let us all choose kindness. Let us all choose understanding. And then we look at each other and we'll start talking to each other differently. Help me understand your world. Help me understand why you hit your wife. Help me understand why you abandoned your children. Help me understand why you kill people and get a delight out of it. I don't have to agree. I've done a lot of that in my life, spoken to people who have done terrible things. I try to understand why they do it. And that is why when they come to me for healing, they are able to heal. Because they're not judged.
That's right. That's right.
And that's the bottom line. When we let go of judgment of each other, we will heal. We heal ourselves, we heal the world, we heal each other. That's the bottom line.
That's really good. You know, they also, with that, the other side will target what we care about most. That's their tactic. They research, they do profiling, and what is it for me? The death of my sons. The death of my sons. So they mock me about the death of my sons. Sophia Stewart will call and mock me about the death of my sons, blame it on me, say that I don't have any feelings about it. This crypto pirate that came on this one program recently and just was a plant saying all the talking points, narcissist, and he doesn't, you know, if I get angry, it seems to always be, if you get my anger to go, it's about the children. If you get me going about the children, if you mock the death of children, if you mock the death of my sons, if you mock, you know, saying that I don't have any feelings for them, you get a reaction from this father. You do. They know that. So they're going for anything that people can, like, they're mainly focusing on something that will reveal that, get us at the most basic level upset. That's what they're trying to do. And you just saw me get angry. It's about the children. They are suffering, they are dying, they are being exploited, and I know who's doing it, and I know what organizations supposed to protect them are doing it too, and that makes me angry. And that's a righteous anger, and I'm going to carry that, and I'm going to have that for them, and I can't wait to look them in the eyes later and let them know publicly what they did revealed. That's their biggest concern, is being revealed. And then they throw this tactic at us: if you're not with us, you're against us. And they permeate that into our circles. Who cares? Where's that come from? If you're not with me on my religious beliefs, then you're against me. Why? How? Tell Paul that in the Bible if you're a Christian. What are you talking about? No, we're supposed to be loving, embracing. Like I said, I celebrate people's ability to have faith. The faith brings us together. The religions tear us apart. I'm not saying get rid of your religion. No, just don't push it on me and my kids. Don't send me your tracts. Don't send me your things saying you're God. Don't send me your things saying you're Jesus and gave me my stuff and then try to work against me because I didn't accept it. No, I'm not going to accept any of your tracts or anything. So stay away from my door knocking. I'm going to celebrate my ability to have faith, my child's ability to have faith, and your ability to have faith, but don't push your religions on me. Not interested, unless you want to sit down and listen to what I have to say. Even then, it's a waste of time. You're not going to listen to many of these people that do this. It's time for the doors to stop being opened to nonsense. Let us believe what we want to believe. Let us get our work done. Children matter. Children matter. Not you out there handing out the tracts. Children matter. And we're going to finish a job to help them. And I'm passionate about it. I really am. Tired of the noise. And I'm tired of division being created on the front line. We've got the battle won. The other side saying we've won the chess game. We've won what they call the chess game. We've won. We've won. So stop the grabbing for attention and let us do the job. I look at Morné, the sweetest guy in the world. I mean, you really are a sweet soul. My God, you know, and if I saw your joy diminished, it would crush me. It would crush me. Why are they destroying, like you, Shanti, those that have hearts? And why are you pressuring us to turn? Why is my documentary team being contacted? The one I'm working with, it's so stellar. Over and over and over again. And host 2, don't work with him, he's evil. What have I done that's evil? Let's go right back to your own scriptures, people out there. What did I do? Judge by the actions. What have I done? What did I do? You know? So it's like, yeah. And then they try to come up with the biggest talking points they can. For me, it's narcissism. Really? I was tested as tremendous empathy. But what does my sister do who works for the FBI? Tears that sheet right up. Just like the queen in Game of Thrones, the redheaded queen, who's modeled after her, the redheaded queen. You know, it's like they don't want the truth. And they get more angry the more the truth is said. But I'd like to hear what Morné has to say too. You're always so gentle and quiet on the side there and listening. And that's amazing to me. And Shanti, you always have the wisdom too. So you guys are a great duo. I love it.
I speak. Even when I'm listening, I'm speaking. My voice might be not loud, but my spirit goes out and I feel and I touch. And I think we as humans have like this conversation on a higher level when we connect on a heart level. So when we share our stories and we connect on a heart level, our spirits have this communication going on upstairs that we don't even know about. But what I wanted to say is like, yes.
Did you see the interruption?
First.
Okay. Did you see the
I just had it.
Yes. The interruption, insane. The interruption was occurring the whole time you talked. But this is what I heard. We need to be on the heart level. We need.
Well, what I was saying, when we connect on a heart level, then we have a conversation that's beyond this level.
Right. It's good words, and it's a good. You both have such great hearts, but they're interrupting you so much. Why? They don't want you or Shanti or me. They don't want the sweetness shown. They don't want good people shown. They don't want them heard because it ruins their agenda where they want everyone to believe that we're all dark and evil inside, and they can put forward their claims that we're dark to prove it, they think. And that's supposed to make the whole world think everybody's dark so they can get away with their crimes, including the Alphabet Boys. So they just interrupted you so heavy because they don't want examples of you, and Shanti was interrupted too. Chantelle, you were interrupted too. They don't want examples of good heart speaking. No, don't show that. It ruins their whole plan. But
Yeah.
what you said was very, very important.
What I wanted to end it with is like, yes, they know how to get under our skin, but right now we're getting under their skin, and they're getting desperate. Because the more we connect, the more we share our stories, the more we emotionally connect on the planet. It's like we build stronger boundaries, stronger inspiration, stronger, we need to deal with the heavy stuff. And that's what we'd love to do on Aquarius Rising Africa. We need to deal with the heavy stuff. So the more we can sit together, deal with the heavy stuff on a heart connection, it's almost like collectively we strengthen our higher communication, so to say. So anyways, we are getting under their skin and they are getting desperate, and we mustn't fall for that stuff. Just go back to focus. And like you said, it's about the kids. It's about the kids. If the kids are like drowning in the river, you're not going to be like, oh, you're a Buddha, leave the kid alone. Or you are this, leave the kid alone. You're going to go save that kid out of the river. That's human nature.
Do you see that? Do you see that? That it came through. It was interrupted as you did it, but it came through. It's incredible that the words are so important. The sweetness, the nature, the kindness, the hearts you both have is very important to put forward, because that's what they don't want seen. Even beyond what we say, they don't want examples of good people. So they're going to attack and trash the good people. Audiences, take note. Watch the people they trash. Those that are actually have a heart for children and trying to make a difference in our world, and have a kindness and love that's just throughout them. Tremendous empathy I was tested with. I associate with people who have the same, and watch how they don't want that shown. They try to disrupt families. They try to destroy that bonding agent of love and caring, and they try to expose us for what? We're not the ones harming the children. We're the ones trying to save the children. And it's amazing that these interruptions are happening. So a better world's coming where they don't get to push the buttons anymore, and they don't get to do it. They'll be trying to do it, but they'll be behind bars, facing crimes for humanity, abusing everything they were when they were put in charge of protecting people and citizens and children. And they didn't do it. They saw profit instead. They saw money and profit and fame. The question I've always been asked when they offer me the seat, if I had stuff to go, what's in it for them? What's in it for them? That's what they always say. What's in it for us? That's their mode of operation. That's their way of thinking, where we're like, what needs to be done? What can we do to make a difference? Who can we help? How can we lift? How can we encourage? Take a look and decipher. Use critical thinking. Let's stop people out there in public. Let's stop joining in the attacks on each other. Let's get a solid front line, free the children, and finish the job.
Yeah. And I think, really the question, the end part of the title of the show is like, how do we respond to that, and exactly the way we're speaking now, that's how we respond. No one says you've got to roll over and play dead, and, you put down your boundaries, but you don't get into a cat fight or a bun fight. You don't feed the energy. You really just deal with it from a loving place. And I'm not, when I say loving place, it doesn't really mean that you've now got to go and hug the person fueling your fire. That's not always easy. But, maybe just understand that this is something that's taking you to a higher level, because you're forced to transcend the BS, So through spiritual practice, through building stronger communities, through making friends with each other, through building groups, programs, etc., interviews like this together, so we strengthen. And that's exactly, the heart center. You can imagine all of our hearts are connected with a beautiful, fine web of light, so to speak, all interconnected. So when we are actively connected through the heart vibration or the love vibration, it forms a very strong net, so to speak, that can't be broken. So that's how we change things. and together. So together we all work in a unified way. And that's really how to do it. It doesn't help fighting and getting angry with each other. It really doesn't. For whatever reason, you know, there's been so much division. And I've said it before, like to go back, in my opinion, from where I consciously actually remember, and I know lots before that was 9/11. You know, all of the stuff. Then there was the COVID. Then there was the jab, and everyone is, whose side are we on? And you know, politicians fighting, and then the elections, and my word, just so much going on. You know, so there's so much.
And who instigated
monkeypox, Johnny Depp, there's so much. It's just like the interruptions doesn't stop. It's like
distraction. You notice that
speaking of Johnny Depp, what is your take on Johnny Depp and what's happening with this whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing? I mean, I've got my opinion on that, but what do you think is the diversion that's being created there?
I think they're creating a myth that the law and system of justice works, and that the system of justice will give, you know, their celebrities fair run and justice. It doesn't. It's a myth. They're trying to fabricate that, because actually the justice system is broken and works against people, except those in-house. You know, they'll do favors for each other in-house. Also, the idea that you know, we're supposed to be distracted and give all our attention to what they call celebrities. Well, these guys are the ones, you know, they do drugs, things like this. They're guys that, you know, like Johnny just wants to be a musician, really was what he wanted to do. More power to him. I accept that. He's had a similar background like I had, even has similar names. In his passing, his grandmother was named Violet or something too, just like my grandma was named Violet. We have interesting synchronicities there, very interesting. Abused. Yeah, that's what happened. So here it is. We both went into the film industry and acting, and I was called to do what I did, which took me off the track of it, and he continued on what he was doing. And so it's almost like he is what I would have been if I would have continued going in with a system, and instead I didn't. And I'm not mocking Johnny Depp, not at all. I'm just saying that he's a regular human being, and we dole out so much attention because the media, who's owned by the people controlling and hurting our children, tell us to. And they keep putting it on the air, so the news ratings can go up. These film companies working for the alphabet boys also own the media. CNN's, like we said, is owned by Warner Brothers. ABC News is controlled or owned by Disney, and even ESPN. So these guys control everything from telephones. AT&T owned by Warner Brothers. They own everything. So it's their puppet show they're doing, and they're putting their puppets up and saying, look at these guys. This is what matters in your life, not your own families even. Instead of taking care of your children, watch these things on the YouTube and watch these things on the TV. You know, watch these guys instead, live through them, and then follow what we tell you to do through them. It's a game. It's a game that's not necessary. I'd rather just take care of my last surviving son and do everything I can. And he's thriving. He's thriving despite all. He's actually going to be part of the documentary. So my take is, and I want to hear yours too, is that it's a puppet show.
I definitely think it's a puppet show for sure. I think there's a lot of stuff that we're not hearing about. I heard an interesting observation that this could be, I think they called it a embarrassment ritual for, what's her name, Amber Heard, because I'm hearing, and I don't know, I didn't even know who Amber Heard was before this, so please, I've done absolutely no research. Because apparently she was fighting quite strongly for equal payment, pay for female actresses in Hollywood. So they had a bone to pick with her. But for me, it's also interesting, you know, if you're looking at just what's playing itself out right now, you know, the male that is abused by the woman as well. And I mean, we know that happens. I mean, women are far from innocent. Their worst weapon is their mouth, that's for sure, and their ability to do things. So I think there's a highlight on that. So I think it's highlighting those topics because I think they're very, very real. And I think more so than what we are able to understand, because I think, you know, if we just look at pedophiles, we generally think that it's men perpetrating that. But what we've understood in the last 2 years is how many women are involved, for example. So I think we're starting to see the flip side of that as well, just how vicious a woman can be. But in having said all that, I mean, when we're looking at just human nature, I believe in your frequency that you emit there is going to attract the other person that emits the same frequency. So the two of them are really just two very abused souls who like to abuse each other for a while. And, I think he gave as good as what he got when the moment's called for. I think, people are hurt in different ways. They respond differently. They attack differently. So I think he attacked her differently, maybe more subtly. Just the fact that he wasn't present in their relationship was probably a big thing for her. I heard stuff that he was cheating right early on in the marriage. Now, no one likes that, to be cheated on by your husband in the early days. There might be actors and actresses and movie stars and have all this money and fame and fortune, but at the end of the day, they're human beings with emotions, So I think that's it. I think it's a big display of something. I do think we're being diverted, but I think it's a big understanding that there's a lot more abuse from women to men than what we are aware of.
Well, here's an interesting story too. I mean, you just said is something I never thought of. I do want us documentary team know about this. You just hit something so cool through this discussion, and I think you might find it amusing. Is that the honeypot wife that I was provided that was the ex-con, the criminal record, prostitute, all that stuff, and cheated the whole time during our marriage, and that's why Aiden's with me. She didn't want to do with him, and just left him with me because she didn't want him. It was a byproduct of her job. And so what's interesting is when she came to me, they train women in these positions like Total Recall. When you're a target, they train them to be stronger than you and to have moves. It was really incredible. It's like Smith versus Smith with Angelique Jolie. What I did with her was I said, well, I want you to be able to defend yourself should anything happen, right? And so here I am having taken self-defense, and I'm trying to show her a self-defense move, and she threw me right to the ground with a move. She was trained in assault. She was trained before she came to me. And so here she's pretending to be this like, pristine thing. And it was like Smith versus Smith scene where she goes right down. She knew exactly what she was doing, was trained for the job, even in that aspect. So I just thought that was amusing that you brought that to my attention with what you were saying about, these guys are using women as honeypot wives and plants and things like this. And they're trained in all aspects. And then it shows through in very interesting ways. You'll suddenly see it, and that's how I saw it on the flat of my back.
But yeah, if you look at like the system, you get the mothers of darkness, the brides of Satan, the mothers, just the mothers. I mean, like women are very much in control in the background still. Did we even like cross over to the new? Isn't the women still in control of this earth right now? It's only the man that's like in front. But women, There was something else I wanted to say, but now I forgot it because I was just thinking about, a lot of women are still in control. I mean, there's a lot of women doing in the backseat, pedophilia, organizing, satisfying their husbands, which is like running the show, but actually they're the ones running the show. It's like movies.
Disney did this. Disney actually helped do this with the Alphabet Boys. They were with Disney, and Robinson's with Disney. They're all together on this. And so Disney perpetrated that idea that it's a Cinderella story. You're supposed to have everything. The prince is supposed to give you everything. You're supposed to have the glass slipper, and then you're loved and cherished, and everybody wants to be you. Well, that's a pretty tall order. And so it's like men are to give them that fairy tale. And that's what Disney has done to our poor young girls in this country. Made them think that this isn't, you're entitled to this.
Globally, all over the planet, you know, how many times don't you hear women say, well, he's my knight in shining armor, or I'm waiting for my knight in shining armor, or whatever the case might be, literally. And I mean, I don't think, words we know by now are spell casting. So when we say stuff like that, it's literally what we're waiting for, your knight in shining armor, thinking this guy is going to come off and save you and take you away. And men are men, and they have emotions, and they are, one thing I've learned about men over the years is they're incredibly fragile little beasts. And I don't mean the word beast in a bad way, you know, and they really do. You know, I think men have so much pressure put on them to perform. You know, you've got to push, keep up with the Joneses all the time, which I'm sure is probably why men have a shorter lifespan than women generally. But, you know, it's always pushed to have the holiday, provide for the kids, make sure they have the best of this, make sure they have the best education, make sure we have the house on the hill, make sure we do the holiday, push. Honestly, it's just this constant pushing. And that men feel this need they have to provide. And I know that it's changing now. I do understand that, and it's good that it is. And I think both men and women both need to understand that everyone feels fear in the same way. We just manifest it differently, or whatever the case might be, you know. So a lot of men turn to alcohol. You'll often hear about that, become violent. They can't deal with the pressure. They lead double lives, you know, and I'm not saying women don't. I know this works both ways, but I'm speaking specifically about, I think there's so much societal pressure on men to perform and to be these knights in shining armor for their women. And if they don't, then there's someone richer going to come along. But there again, the women have the same fears of someone younger coming along and prettier, and, you know, we all have fears. We just got to conquer them within ourselves and then trust that our partner is amazing. That's all. That we're going to attract an amazing partner.
Yeah. No, if it's a Cinderella story, I would rewrite it if I could. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people love it, especially with Leslie Warren version or whatever way back. But the thing is, I, as the prince, would be like, let's throw out that glass slipper. You don't need to put it on and change back into riches. Let's just live life and celebrate life. You don't need a glass slipper.
Exactly.
You don't need a ball. Let's just love life. Let's just celebrate together and be equals.
Exactly.
You know? And that's what's interesting with, like, Pat Robertson's group too. Look at the woman-man thing that Disney put in. Well, no wonder Robertson's with Disney, because his pronouncing is that woman is subservient to man, that it's in the scriptures. He gives the scriptures out, and when you're a student there or with his network, they give the scriptures all the time. Man is to be subservient to woman, he says, that the man decides how long she has her hair, if she has any health care, if it's done at the home, if she's given a medication during childbirth, if she can go out and who she sees, whatever, is all controlled by the man, according to Pat Robertson. And look at Pat Robertson's statements about women. He said that the one woman that was raped, the young girl, well, she had it coming, he said, not my words, she had it coming because of the way she dressed. Really? And then what did he say about women and men's relationships? This is Pat Robertson. We have it on tape, on the videotape. Quoted. Here he is. What about men and women? Well, men want every woman they can get. They want to have sex with every woman they can get. Look, I have a bunch of stallions in my barn, and they want to get as many mares as they can. That's how men are. Ha, 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 says Pat Robertson. Yep. He's a monster, absolute monster. If you want to know why it's so imbalanced right now, is because the people that are in charge, the alphabet boys, given their blessing and covered by Pat Robertson, Michael Eisner, Disney, Mike Lang, Harvey Weinstein, all these guys, even Joel Silver, Steven Spielberg, they're all going on the premise of this idea that women are less. You can't blame for women for fighting back, but it's not a balance at all. This is what our children are indoctrinated with, this idea that, you know, and then this idea too that everything's for you, you're entitled, you're supposed to have the best. Are you serious? That's how you're operating? Good luck having a relationship that's actually balanced. If that's what you really feel, that you're entitled. Entitlement's got to go out the door. And I think entitlement also leads to the very core of what we're discussing about. Malicious gossip, I think, does have its root in feeling entitled, that you need attention, that you have to be important, and you're going to trash somebody to get that if you can't earn it on your own merits. And that sounds harsh, but that's what I feel.
You know what? That's just one of the tactics again. I think if we just look at it again, let's just go back to Amber and Donnie and stuff like that. First, women are bad. Now men are bad. it's if it's black or white. Okay, it's like their tactics is always to separate and put a spotlight on the other one for a moment, and then another one. I mean, with Will Smith as well. Will Smith was just recently. We've got all these like poor man that's been abused by women. So women are now the bad guys. But for me personally, I saw that whole thing as a little distraction. I mean, you've got a vampire in court with a turd. I mean, like they was, and they both had like Mason, well, I know symbol that like stuff like on them clothes. It's like I think they were just like staging. I mean, why didn't we get this on Maxwell's case? You know, why not? So I think there was all just staged. And if you look at people and talking about going under people's skin and how we respond to it, how did most people in this world respond to it? Mm-hmm. They were like hooked, sink, and centered, and they were fighting against each other. Was it Amber's fault? Was it Johnny's fault? I mean, I saw a lot of arguments from both sides. I didn't follow the trial, but I was like, social media just forced that stuff in my face. Like, people, why are you even caring about a vampire and a turd? But anyway, so I think that's just one way of how they keep going under our skins, keep us distracted, keep us deployed. But you know what's happening since COVID? I think a lot of their plans backfired. Mm-hmm. People did start awakening. Mm-hmm. So even in this sense, people did start thinking about the other, the other side of this emotional thing with men also being abused, So in some way, I always think there's always good that comes from everything. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's just another tactic, not a distraction. Like I know with our year in Namibia as well, one of our politicians said the rape cases are so high because women wear short skirts.
Yeah, seriously. It's like
the same with Patterson. It's like that mentality is still there, but they always play on either that mentality or that one, and they keep pushing the separation all the time to get under our skins and turn it around. And how we respond to that is our choices. And we need to really stop judging each other on host. If we're talking about saving the children, don't judge us because we believe in yoga or something like that. I mean, just get over everything. Let's focus on one goal. It's saving the children right now. Stop reacting to their tactics of separation, because that's how they get under our skin.
That's right.
By separating us, by infiltrating us.
Well, they do it. Like you said, these are puppet shows and distractions and things. They're showing individuals going against each other. And we're supposed to go, that's what I would do. I side with him or I side with her. That's what they want. They don't want shown people with good hearts that are sweet, trying to save children and make a difference, and getting angry on behalf of all people, getting angry that people are being hurt. They don't want that. They want these individual showdowns going on. And they want to agitate and disrupt our lives and get us on edge all the time. Like you just hit Amber. Let's talk about Amber, all right? Let's go sideways with Amber. Amber alerts. What the hell are Amber alerts in this country? That is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I'm going to say it right now. 3 a.m. in the morning, we're in bed and we hear, a white truck has just drawn off with it. What am I supposed to do about it? An Amber alert is just to agitate and make us think it can happen to you. It's not doing good. If you want an Amber alert to make a difference, then have people sign on in their cars that are on the highways at the time, and then go get an alert that says, there's some vehicle, look out for it while you're driving, look for this vehicle in your locality. Then it might work. Don't send Amber alerts with this loud, annoying alarm like we got to get out of the school. And on our phones, it's not doing anything except sending a message like the red, yellow ratings during the 9/11 times. Danger, your child could be taken. Danger, your child could be taken. Danger. That's what you're supposed to receive when you're at 3 a.m. in the morning. You're not out on the road. You're in bed. It's like, I know that may sound like I'm stepping on sensitive ground, but no, it is another way to evade and disrupt and agitate and make you get fear of your own child being taken. That's the goal of it. That's what they do. They're trying to agitate. They're trying to disrupt you. They're trying to disrupt your sleep. This is a tactic they use, just like, look at the shootings that occurred. How come there was a school in Texas where someone decided to let them get in there with all those automatic weapons and kill heroic teachers and children? Why? My son goes to school in Texas. Why Philadelphia all of a sudden is shooting Philadelphia? That's where I was born. You notice a pattern going on here? No, it's not all about Tom Althouse, but I'm the one bringing down the FBI. I'm the one. I'm the one bringing down the FBI because they killed my children, let them know through contacts they did it. And they're the ones that are running the child trafficking, protecting it, and also benefiting off of stolen intellectual property. I am public enemy #1 with the FBI right now. And they made it very clear by buying off my sister with a guy who's actually an FBI lifelong from Hollywood, and also a congressman who represents her and gives her black tie dinners and everything else. Let's just say what it is. Right now, I'm the FBI's worst nightmare because of the intellectual property I have, which exposes them. So therefore, 2 sons murdered, a daughter reprogrammed, my son under threat all the time, 302s, which are illegal, being done all the time. So if you want to know what's going on, they're going after who they fear most. And I actually have a card from the FBI. Please extend every courtesy to Tom Althouse. When I was being groomed by Pat Robertson, they gave me dinner and a card. Please extend every courtesy to Tom Althouse, FBI. Let's just say what it is. And their tactic is to say, he's a narcissist. He thinks everything's about him. No, I'm a person that's revealing them and have the ability to do. That's why you're saying narcissist, because you don't want people to listen to what we have to say. And I'm saying it right now in your program. I am the one that's supposed to bring them down. And that, I feel, is my calling, because this world's going to be a better place once they're brought down. And I have their connections with Robertson, Disney, and everybody else, and I can prove it. And that's why 302s are being done in this country. So I know the game. I know the players, Mr. Walsh, and FBI heads. I know. So I am taking the shots, but I'm working with great people while I do it. And you watch what happens now. Watch what happens. They're going to be very upset. Either they'll start to be exposés, or they'll come at me again. I don't care. You don't have a cause. All I'm doing is trying to free children that you're abusing. So, FBI.
I'm seeing you as the original Neo in Matrix, and you're just like dodging those bullets. And I'm going to take you down, Mr. Smith. I'm going to take you down.
You just hit it. You just hit it, Morné. They said they put me in my own
pop
film.
You with some blue pills.
They put me in my own film. Robertson wanted me to be the face of the Christian coalition, his arm to control this world. The FBI gave me that card. Please extend every courtesy to Tom. Hollywood wanted to recruit me. Disney, all of them. So yes, I didn't choose this position. I was given this position. I lost my sons over this position. Now I'm working with great people together to make a difference, to change this. And I'll tell you what, when the alphabet boys are stopped and dismantled, we'll have a better world. You'll see the children freed. There's your answer. There it is. And we'll stop having disruptions. Everybody who's been told to come against me, they send me texts saying the FBI contacted them, sometimes for 3 hours on a Saturday. So therefore, we are dealing with a group that now has complete power in Congress and is actually saying we only go after those that go after them. No, you're going after innocent families and innocent people and saying that they're the hostiles. We're not. It's like Avatar. So we have won this game. They said we won this game. My message to them is do the right thing finally and protect the people you're supposed to protect and free the children. Stop playing this game that it's all about you for power, for profit. It's not. You've got some good people in your organization, your ranks, that'll help lead the way the right way. Let them do it. Get out of the way for the good people. And you're going to see a better world. A better world. What happened when the towers fell? A man who was bloodied talked about, this happened. I heard the secondary explosions. We all know it. Agents have told me. And they're whisked away in the middle of their interview. They're whisked away. That's very rude. By people with FBI on the back of their jackets. Whisked away from that interview. And when the Pentagon thing, when they picked up the pieces off the ground of the airplane, those are big engines that don't just disintegrate into air. They're titanium and things like that. They don't disintegrate. And they're picking up little pieces, handheld pieces. Who? Read the jackets again. What's on the back of the jackets? They are the ones doing the biggest cover up in our world. And it's time to call it on the carpet. They're the ones connected to Pat Robertson, the one connected to our movie moguls, the ones that worked with Disney from the very beginning. Intellectual property theft is one of their main gains beyond poppy fields. Time to call it. Time to call the ball. And I'm going to. And I'm going to stand through this, come out the other side with great people like yourself, and celebrate with our children, and celebrate with our grandchildren, and say, like Chantelle said, we made it through. We did. We stood true on the front line, and we didn't trash our own. We didn't give in to the tactics divide and conquer. The art of war has turned into a new book, and that is the ability to believe in each other, in the higher power, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to judge whatever you name it. I don't care. I call it my God. That's fine. And what you call it is fine. It's okay. I also call it my parentals. Judge me on that. Don't care. It's what I'm going to choose to call it. It's my personal choice. Faith is our best guess. The ability to have faith is a great gift. Religion, look at all religions. Somehow they go back to man and woman putting them together, piecing them together with certain agendas attached. That's religion. Faith is a gift.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think that is such a beautiful way to bring closure to our chat this evening, because I think it's exactly that, you know, that we can just have faith in each other, have faith in ourselves, have faith in our abilities to support each other and create the place on this planet that we choose. You know, it really is. There's nothing new about the way that they divide and conquer now, because we've understood there's nothing creative about the way that they do it, the controllers do it. Mm-hmm. They just keep repeating, as you say, the same thing over and over. So once you've seen it, and twice and three times, when you see it, it becomes like so obvious. So it's beautiful. Thank you, Tom, for being with us again this evening. It's always such a pleasure to have you. So I look forward to having you in 2 weeks' time again, same time, same place, fortnight from now. So thank you, Tom. Is there anything else you'd like to say just in closing?
Thanks for your courage. Thanks for your withstanding all that's been thrown and for keeping your joy. The greatest thing I see is that you guys maintain a joy, and it means the world to me. If there's anything that encourages me, it's you having joy. And that's what I want. Fear being instituted. That's the organization's letters, initials go to that. Fear being instituted is what they're doing. And we're not going to let them have the fear. That's why I would be hauled off, because they want to create fear. And they don't want the truth out about what they've done wrong to children, to others. That's why I'd be hauled off. But thank you. redpillrising.org still has information. You'll see all these sites struck by these certain parties, these organizations. But they're still there in ghost form, all these interviews. And let's use critical thinking, finish the job, free the kids, and celebrate life and make a better world by getting rid of groups that are trying to prevent that. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you as always. You know, I've always got so much respect and admiration for you guys who come out and tell your stories, you know, despite the horrors that you endure along the way. And as always, Tom, always grateful to you. And God bless you and Aidan. And I look forward to seeing you guys again, or you again, in 2 weeks' time. Morné, I'll see you a lot sooner.
Yeah. Keep up the great work. Keep up the great work, because no one can argue that your work isn't great and good. So
thank you.
I judge you on your work at the basis level, and it's good. You are good people. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thank you so much for watching another episode of us here on Aquarius Rising Africa with our regular Tom ALTHOUSE, who's super awesome, very informative. And yeah, as Tom says, you know, really blowing the whistle big time on the Alphabet Boys. More so than anyone else I've heard, I must say. We're always hearing about, you know, these guys that are not cool and what they do. But I think if anyone has top level intel about this sort of stuff and who's involved, and, you know, understanding Hollywood really is a big fat spy agency. You know, we got to stop supporting that. You know, the whole thing is, if we want a system to crumble, we've got to stop supporting that. We sign these people's paychecks by watching their movies, by taking out the DVDs, by subscribing to their channels, by buying their products. You know, we sign their paychecks, and we've got to be very aware who we support again. So if we want to bring down the system, we've got to stop supporting the system. We've got to retract our support of that and look for something else where we want to maybe spend our hard-earned dollars. So that's something to think about. You know, Tom, you're going to be making us some awesome movies soon. Can't wait for that.
Hey, yes.
I'll definitely be supporting you, that's for sure.
Yeah, the documentary is going to be killer. The documentary is going to be amazing. And think of it, like the other side will say, you know, well, you know, he's a fraud, calling them. They're doing it for free. They're doing the documentary for free. These are professionals that are experts in their field because they believe in the material and they've seen the evidence. So the other side is definitely panicking. And it's also going to expose alphabet boys. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you all, guys. Mwah. Take good care of yourselves. If you haven't already, please give us a like, a share, and a subscribe, as well as our sister channel, Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa, where we have all the solutions to what's going on in the world right now. So take good care of yourselves. Look forward to seeing you soon, and we will see you back with Tom in 2 weeks from now. Jerry.